And before Meruem could blink, this man gets smacked with a Buddha hand, dragged across the ground, and flung across the tomb into multiple pillars. And he gets up pissed, only to look up and see Netero preparing to blow his back out with love.
Hey man, it's your boy Alex, and welcome back to another banger.
Today, we are talking about HunterxHunter, and more specifically, the Khmer Anarch, where Netero and Meruem box it out. So if you have not yet seen episodes 125 through 128 of HunterxHunter, spoiler warnings ahead. And without further ado, it's time to get unhinged. So we start off with Knuckle confronting Poof, telling him that he wants to take this fight outside. But Poof said he can't leave the room without Gon's permission. Mind you, this man is one of Meruem's royal guards, which makes him one of the 4 strongest members in the entire colony. And this demonic 13-year-old child is telling him what to do. But technically, this is not his real body. His true core is headed to the king. At least, that's what he tells him. But Gon was not feeling that. He said, "Oh, you're a segment? Prove it." And Poof was like, "Nah." He said, "I'm not saying nothing. Just trust your judgment. Look at this man's haircut. Why would you trust his judgment? I mean, what did he even go to the barber and ask for? Matter of fact, you can't even tell me him and Gar don't have the same barber, because what is this?" You know what? Y'all got it, bruh. So suddenly, Poof disperses into smaller segments, flies out of the building, and tells Knuckle he'll be waiting at the front gate for 10 minutes. And Pito begins to tweak out because Gon did not tell him to move. And with a pissed off expression, he tells Pito you got 10 less minutes to heal Komagi. Keep in mind, she only had an hour to begin with, and she better hope she finishes in time, because this child has chased his deadbeat father across an entire continent and has a trained assassin as his best friend, which means he has nothing to lose and can crash out at any moment. And because of this, and because of how much he knows about their plan, Pito realizes that she has to kill him in order to protect their king, but she has to find the right time to do it. And as Knuckle walks away, we cut to Meruem and Netero chopping it up. And at this point in time, Meruem does not know what his own name is. So he's trying to figure out, how does this old man know what my name is? And Netero says he was there at his mother's deathbed, where she uttered his name with her dying breath. And if you want me to tell you, then you have to force me to admit defeat in battle. And as Meruem walks forward, he plants his foot down and agrees to his offer. And moments later, Netero leaps in the air, powers up, and activates 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And while Meruem was confused by that long-ass name, Netero begins to spam him with multiple golden Buddha hands as he crushes him into the ground. And as they make it to the tomb below and the dust begins to settle, they are both aura farming. This man Meruem is literally mewing, and for whatever reason, Netero is posed up with both of his cheeks clenched. But suddenly, time begins to slow down as Netero prepares for another attack. And before Meruem could blink, this man gets smacked with a Buddha hand, dragged across the ground, and flung across the tomb into multiple pillars. And he gets up pissed, only to look up and see Netero preparing to blow his back out with love. So come to find out, this was not the power of friendship, but instead a series of backhands, karate chops, and punches. And Meruem was getting nowhere near Netero. And when he tries to rush in again, he gets crushed by Buddha hands. But as he's getting squished, he suddenly breaks free.
Spike!
But the beatdown does not stop there. He looks up to see this old man hawking him down again. And moments later, he gets squished into the pillar. But he eventually counters back. And when he attacks Netero again, he begins to figure him out. And when they prepare to go back at it, Meruem pisses Netero off. But this time around, when Netero swings at him, Meruem bounces back even faster, blitzing Netero relentlessly, as he realizes that Netero can only attack in specific patterns. But with his ability, Netero basically has unlimited combinations with his attacks. But Meruem keeps blitzing him until he finds the perfect moment and angle to attack. And look at the pure joy in this monster's face. I've never seen someone so excited to murder a senior citizen, but it's all good because this long-eared lunatic is smiling too. And the longer these two go at it, the more their endurance is being tested. And it seems pretty even, until suddenly, Meruem cuts off Netero's leg, and he gives him this chance to stop the fight and tell him his name. But instead of doing that, Netero stops his freshly amputated leg from bleeding and tells Meruem to square up. And this is when I knew things were getting very serious, because Meruem points at Netero and says that his left arm is next. And as he goes to attack him, the narrator stops the show himself and says that the fight that's about to ensue did not even last a full minute. Do you know how cooked you have to be for the narrator to inform the viewers on how fast you got packed up? That is utterly embarrassing. But to be fair, this man is over 100 years old. But on the other hand,
wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
And as we resume the fight, these two exchange over 1,000 punches until Meruem finds the right path to take off Netero's arm. And once again, he stops fighting and asks Netero to tell him his name. And instead of telling him, this double amputee prepares to fight again. And as Meruem turns his eyes, he gets caught in Netero's final attack. And slow motion or not, this man had plenty of time to move out the way. But now it's too late because Netero has literally turned his own aura into a hyper beam, flips him off, and blasts him at point blank range. And after creating a molten crater in the ground, we cut to a very weak Netero who is nearly clinging on to life itself, just a bag of bones and wrinkles, gasping for air as he looks up to see Meruem standing like nothing happened. And as he lays on the ground, Meruem says that he's the king and the humans are beneath him, when suddenly Netero laughs and finally says Meruem's name. And moments later, Netero looks at him and Meruem feels fear for the first time as Netero stabs himself in the heart to set off an explosion device. And as Meruem tries to escape, Netero blows both of them up, causing destruction all around them. As the bomb detonates, Yuppie and Poof head towards that direction. And while they check on Meruem, we cut to Ikago reuniting with Killua and Palm. And as they go over the plan, they talk about how Gon wants to fight Pitou by himself. And even though they want to help, they don't want to get in his way, because when Gon sets his mind on something, he is not budging. And after they agree on the plan, they set off to find Knuckle and the others. And when they finally do, they decide on what to do next. And Knuckle declares that he's going to keep fighting, no matter what. And as he walks off, everyone else begins to follow. We then cut to another part of the palace, where Gon and Pitou are waiting for Komagi to heal. And as Pitou continues the surgery, Gon gets impatient, as he tells her, "You're done, right?" And even though she still has some time left, she had already finished the surgery, but she was trying to stall and got surprised when Gon found out. Like, why are you surprised? This man was literally sitting 2 feet behind you, and you wouldn't think he would notice you were done? Yeah, alright. So he tells her to get up and that it's time to go. And as he prepares to leave, Komagi begins to wake up. And when Pitou tries to speak, this demonic adolescent says if she speaks out of line again, he's going to kill Komagi. Like, bro, relax. And as Pitou walks towards Gon, the rest of the gang pulls up. And then Gon instructs Knuckle to watch Komagi while he takes Pitou to go heal Kite. And as the two of them head out, we cut back to the explosion site, as Yuppie and Poof hover above it in complete shock, as they see nothing but black smoke and magma. But shortly after, the two split up to search for the king. And after running on magma, Yuppie eventually finds him. And being traumatized by the sight, he begins to scream out. And as he brings Meruem's body out of the flames, this man has been burnt to a crisp. And the two warrior guards continue to cry out in devastation as their king has fallen. As these two continue to cry out, this man Meruem moves his burnt lips and opens his eyes. How is this even possible? Look at him. He looks like a burnt backwood. He should not be breathing. And to make things worse, in order to heal their king, Poof feeds himself to him. And as he continues to suck him in, Meruem begins to glow as he slowly begins to regain his strength. But then these two start to get a little too freaked out for me, because Meruem tells Poof that he tastes so good he doesn't want to taste anything else in his life ever again. And where are your clothes? Have some decorum! But trust me, it gets worse, because Yuppie drips some demon juice on Meruem's lip and this man deadass starts moaning. It cannot taste that good, bro. But anyways, after he sucked both of them dry, Meruem eventually fully regenerates. But to both Poof and Yuppie's surprise, this man has lost all memory of what he's supposed to be doing. And Poof believed it was due to the explosion that Netero hit him with. So Yuppie suggested they head back to the palace so he can help regain his memory. And as he grows new wings, they latch onto his tail and head out. But before he gets there, Poof rounds up some of his segments and flies towards the palace to kill Komagi. Because if Meruem gets there and sees her, he's going to remember his true objective, which is to rule over all living creatures. So in this very moment, Poof is racing against the clock, but when he finally gets there, she's nowhere to be found. When suddenly, he's punched from behind by Knuckles, who is camouflaged thanks to Melaron, and moments later, Palm comes out of the shadows, as she recognizes him for what he did to her, when she suddenly notices the king's presence, as he will be arriving to the palace very soon. Alright, so that's it for today's video. Now I know I left y'all on a cliffhanger, so if you want some more Hunter x Hunter, just let me know down in the comments below. And besides that, we got some more bangers coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And once again, I appreciate everybody for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe as well. It's your boy Atlas, and I'll catch you next time.